Trading Nut, episode 5.
You should be prepared to hit the stop loss, as well as you should be prepared to not to stop the trade before take profit.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the Trading Nut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got not one, but two traders on the show. We've got William Bond and Siby Varghese on the show. So what you're going to hear today is a couple of different approaches to trading. So these guys had different journeys into where they are now, where they're managing a fund and doing various other things as well. So you're going to hear the different journeys, and they are polar opposites. So I suppose it's a chance for you to sit back and reflect on the journey that you're taking into trading, and are you on the right path or are you on the wrong path? I mean, the right path really, to me, the wrong path, I suppose, is that old cliche of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, and that really is true with trading. When I look at my path, it's over the past, not past, but it took me about 6 years. I was doing that. I was on the wrong path. I was doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something to change, and it didn't until I started changing things and doing different things. And it became obvious in some of the shows that I've done in the past that, you need to try something out, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then try something different and give yourself a time limit, okay? Give yourself a few months, 3 months, 1 month, whatever it is. Try something, give it your full shot, give it a really good shot, and see if it sticks. If it doesn't, then I think after 3 months is probably a long enough time to go, well, look, it's not working, so I'm going to try something different. So you're going to hear two different stories today. Not that they're on either of them were the wrong path. It was just that these guys have very unique different stories, and I suppose it gives you an idea. One of them is quite free and lucid. The other one is very restricted and limited, which takes me back to what my mentor Andre Stewart said to me a few times, and he said to some of the other students as well that he's training up, is that it's a bit like, if you've got it's a bit like the difference between working for yourself and working for someone else. So if you're working for someone else, you've got rules and things you need to do. You've got to turn up on time. You've got to do your hours. You've got to follow the rules of the organization. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself, then it's up to you, really. You've got to set your own boundaries. And trading very much, that sometimes doesn't work for some people, whereas they need those rules and limitations. And you get this contrast in this interview today. It's really fantastic. We also talk about hidden divergence in the show. We don't actually go into detail as to what it is, so I'm going to tell you before we even touch on it. It's for you guys to understand what it is, so you don't need to go and search out what it is if you don't know what hidden divergence is. So basically, it's good for continuation trades, and it's when price makes a higher high in this case, and the oscillator makes a lower low. Okay, and so Google that. We talk about that in the interview, but you also hear a bit more about how it can be used from William. So, guys, remember if you're lucky enough to get into the gold membership, which is monthly robot club, and also access to all the historic 52 trader interviews, then well done, guys. The doors did close earlier this week, but I have had a lot of feedback from people saying, I missed out, I want in. So guys, I'm going to open it up for a very short time. If you hear this interview go live, then check it out. Go to Trading Nut. If you're coming in a few months later or even longer, a week later, it might not be there. So go and check it out on tradingnut.com. So remember, it's a monthly robot, and you can also send me your strategies as well if you want me to automate them. So I will have a crack at it. I'll let you know if it worked or not. And if it does work, you get to get that robot you're the first person to get that robot. Okay, so you don't need to wait for it, anything like that. You get the robot if you give me the strategy, and the strategy is used. So, what else can I tell you? Be sure to jump on the site, sign up for the free gifts. The free gifts are starting to mount up for these episodes, so make sure you're in there. Leave your email. You're going to get access to those free gifts. We've got mini courses as well, so if you're looking to get an edge, jump on there, check out the mini courses. There's some fantastic ones in there, guys. Really, really good. And if you're listening to this podcast on the internet, you're probably listening to it on the internet, but if you're listening to the podcast on a desktop, so you're probably not getting the full benefit of this, okay? So what I need you to do is jump on your phone and listen to it on your phone. You can listen to it whenever you're doing whatever you're doing, okay? So jump on there. You can take it around with you. And whilst you're on there, subscribe to it and leave a review. I know that it's a new podcast, so it's just taking off. So search for Trading Nut, and you should be able to find it. It's on most devices. Okay, folks. So without further ado, let's get on with today's episode. All right, folks, here we are on the show. We've got Siby Varghese and William Bond on from Red Star Forex. Now, this is a bit of an unusual show, so we've got two guys on, which we don't normally have, but we're going to sort of follow the journey of more along the lines of William as opposed to Siby. But how's it going over there, guys, in Bangkok anyway?
It's cool. It's pretty nice over here.
Going good. So, do you want to sort of give us a little wee introduction of I suppose both of you guys individually, and then we'll get into the show.
Yes, I'll give my introduction. I started my trading way back in 2006 when I met my mentor Hubert Mimoni from Israel. We met him in a trekking in Nepal, and he was my mentor. He was an electrician, and that's how we started. That I got admired from him because he was a successful trader in Elliott wave analysis. Then he started to teach me about how the nature and psychology works on the trading. While we spent about 15 days in Annapurna trekking, he showed me how exactly the nature admire and the psychology works on the Elliott wave by showing me the mountain formation, the leaf formation, the plant leaf formation, how the Fibonacci rules apply to all the natural law. So that's where I started to get inspiration to get into trading. So that's where how I started. Then he mentored me for almost 3 years. Then I moved to Hong Kong. Then I started my journey into trading as a successful trader.
Wow, that's fascinating. I was actually going to ask, how on earth did he teach you Elliott wave when you were out trekking and there were no charts? But it makes complete sense now, looking at the mountains and how they form and stuff. So yeah, that's fascinating. What about you, Siby? Do you want to give us a quick intro? I know we're not going to sort of focus on you for the show, but maybe just give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah. I'm right now 26. I started my journey when I was 18, and I was in the first year of my university, and I used to, trade Forex with a $100 account in my lunch break, and I kept losing since 2013, 2 years of complete losing the market, and that's how I learned the Forex, losing from the market, and slowly, gradually, I had a lot of mentors online. Mostly 80% of them, those mentors always scammed me here, and then I started learning my own methods, watching the market for over 12 hours a day, and even I had eye surgery just because I was online more than 12 hours a day, continuously focusing on this market. And that's why I learned. It's like a self-education. Then I met William a few years back, and then I was able to learn Elliott wave also. So combining my experience, his Elliott wave method, we both were able to make a good trading method and strategy, and that's how we trade in our hedge fund company, which is Red Star Forex.
Cool. And so William, I don't know where I got Philip from. William, so going back to your mentor and how you had this trek and you learned from him there. So do you want to sort of talk us through a little bit more detail in terms of, I suppose, the journey from when you met the guy to when you sort of felt like, you could go off and do your own thing and be profitable without having to, I suppose, go through the ropes of loss after loss and blowing accounts and all that sort of thing?
Yes. Well, fortunately, I had a good start because I got a good mentor from the very beginning of my Forex life. And well, from the very beginning, he taught me the natural law. So that's the way I was not attracted by online, marketing campaign where you find you can make double your money in a month. So I was never attracted by those kind of stuff. But yes, I do attracted by a mentor. So from the very beginning, I got a good foundation. So I was not misguided into any kind of robot trading or make quick money. I mean, buying an indicator and practicing on those things. I never traded with any indicators. I don't use even now. I don't use indicators. The best thing that I learned, because I was from medical background, so psychology is my subject way back in my medical college. So I understand the psychology, and my mentor, he taught me how the greed and the fear works on the market in a very psychological, practical way. At the same time, he used, as I say, the natural law, how the Fibonacci work in the plant as well as in the mountain. So the combination of the Fibonacci and the combined with the human psychology that is greed and fear, that make me a very strong foundation. So I never had any bad experience as Siby had in the beginning, getting scammed into different kind of trading experience. He'd been through a lot of bad time while he was starting his Forex trading. But however, my trading experience was pretty strong from the very beginning. So that's how I am.
Okay, and so I suppose just moving on from being in the mountains where actually there's no charts, there's no screens, you're just sort of imagining all this stuff, and obviously it's going into your subconscious. I mean, when you first sat down at a chart, I mean, how were you able to sort of, I suppose, take what the learnings you'd had at that point and then apply them to the actual market?
Okay, now there was a famous scientist, Coppola, that there was a planetary movement law. That was the first beginning. I'm sorry, I'm taking back all the natural laws and coming to the chart. When I first time he made me to understand the chart, he made me understand the very basic thing about Fibonacci, how the retracement happens, and giving the measurement of Fibonacci that he made me to do practically in pen and paper, not using the Fibonacci indicator, which is built in. So I was able to understand the trading chart in a very traditional way rather than the digital way. So that made me to learn even the basic of how the indicators even made, how the indicators even built. So that gave me a lot of time. It takes me 3 years that I was into demo trading, because he commanded me that you must have to go through 3 years of demo trading before you handle even $100 fund. So that was my 3 years demo trading experience that I've been through in the chart.
Righty-ho. So 3 years of demo to get there. And do you want to walk us through what that 3-year period looked like?
That 3 years was, it was an amazing time, because I spent that entire 3 years in Nepal, sitting in a hotel. I don't take a house because he helped me to, he had his own hotel in Nepal. So he gave me a suite room that I have to sit. I have internet and I have food on time. So all I need to do, I need to practice, and I need to give report every month. He will be going through the report, and he mentored me for 3 years. That was, it was my, my young age, so I don't need to worry about my food and shelter. So it was a pretty nice experience, the 3 years that's been through.
And were you, did you find there was frustrations at points, or was it all pretty smooth sailing and you just kept improving and improving?
Well, my mentor was very strict in many ways. So yes, he was very strict with me. So I was not able to take high leverage where I wanted to take, and I wanted to do in my own way, but he didn't let me do that. So it was because he was complete access to my trading account, monitoring everything. So it was frustrating because I was not able to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to even try robots. I wanted to do many things, but he restricted me not to do. So that was one part that I felt bad. But however, now I feel that what he did to me, it was the right thing. That I wish every person in this planet must get a mentor like Hubert Mimoni, whom I call my godfather of finance, because as I believe, trading is not just a science. Because science is like making a coffee is a science. You need to know how much degrees Celsius you need to heat water and how much sugar you have to add. But it's an art. I believe it's an art combined of science. So you cannot learn it in one fine day. Art is something you have to keep practicing. So I strongly, recommend every person who wanted to be a trader must have to have a mentor who have real well-wish on you. It doesn't matter that the mentor should be a good trader. He may be a bad trader, but he should have, at least he can teach what you should not do. So one person have to be monitor what you are doing, because when you do something, when you know that someone is monitoring you, you will have a fear to follow certain rules. That's what I experienced.
Yeah, it's a great, I suppose, start to get into it. It's almost the perfect start, really, having a guy who knows what he's doing, walking you through it, and giving you all the guidance along the way. So does this guy teach people how, does he still mentor people, or has he just disappeared, or what does he do these days?
Well, the gentleman whom I'm talking about, Hubert Mimon, even if you search online, you will not find him. He was something that God gifted to me. I met him just in a trucking, experience. I just met him, and he don't mentor anybody, as of I know, because he was very close to me, because we just charity together. So he was very attached towards, me in a different way of aspect. So that is the way how he wanted to teach me, because he said, William, you can do a business that is into trading, wherein you don't have a competitors, and even you train other person, and that person will not be your competitor. And this will go as long as, because let us say if you do some traditional business, there is always a new product keep coming on. But once you are an expert in Forex trading, you don't have a competitor, and you need to learn new things to stay in the market. As long as you have eyes to see the chart and a Wi-Fi and laptop, yes, wherever in the platform.
Whoops!
It really attracted me to get into.
Sorry, you dropped off there for a second. We had you're talking about as long as you've got eyes and a laptop, and then you dropped for a few seconds.
Yeah, eyes and laptop, and Wi-Fi, internet, and the money in the trading account.
Okay, cool. And I think you've probably forgotten what the rest of it was that you were talking about, but I think we got the general gist there, which is, so what I'm going to sort of mention is the fact that, there are a lot of guys out there who are actually doing very, very well for themselves in the market, and they're probably even listening to this podcast, but they're not wanting to be found, they're not wanting to be, discovered, and they will, if they find the right person, teach that person because of one reason or another. And it sounds like you got in that space. I actually interviewed someone recently who had exactly the same thing, but it was a lot harder to get the information out of the guy who was trading, and he had to really show that he wanted it. And eventually they gave in and taught him everything he knows now. So it's one of those lucky breaks. I interview lots of traders, and but I hear about a lot of traders as well that are sort of underneath the radar that don't want to come on the show and they don't want to be known, but they will teach a few people. And if you do your research and you push enough, you'll find them. But yeah, they're very difficult to unearth. Right, so let's get on some of the other questions here now. So let's jump forward to today. I mean, do you want to give the guys some insight into what your trading looks like now? I mean, what would you call your trading style?
Okay, as I said in the beginning, I trade on Elliott wave analysis, and my mentor, he made me to understand, and the concept he called simplified Elliott wave. And this simplified Elliott wave, which is what I used to follow in this one. I used to enter, if you know the basic of Elliott wave, I'm sure you know about it.
Yeah.
Wave 3 is the place where we need to enter, and we give a stop loss of the beginning of wave 2, so keeping the low drawdown, and wave 3 is the place we always enter the market. So it's a 4-hour time frame. So a trade can go perhaps 5 to 10 working days, the maximum a trade can go. So I take profit in about 50 to 60 pips, and I move my stop loss to the entry point. Then the rest of the trade goes another 100 and 150 pips. So I trade on major currencies like Euro USD, USD JPY, GBP, Euro JBP. So that are major currency I used to trade. So we get spike in an average twice in a month. So my trade goes in a month maximum 2 to 3 trades. So I don't overtrade, and my trades are limited within 2 to 3 trades, not more than that.
Well, that's quite a few. So, I mean, what time frames are you looking at trading?
4 hours.
4 hours. Okay, that makes sense. So 2 to 3 trades on a 4-hour chart. And so, how long were these trades running for?
5 to 10 working days.
And what's your typical winning percentage and risk to reward ratio?
Okay, in an average for the past experience, 45% of the time the trade always hit take profit 1. And the rest of the trade, 67% of the trade, it hits take profit 2. So that's, 47% of the time it hits take profit 1 and come down to hit the stop loss. And the rest of the trade goes to the take profit 2.
Oh, okay. You get stopped out at break even, is it? Or
yes.
Okay, I think I'm with you. Right. Okay. So cool. So there's some stats around what you're doing. What does your typical day look like then if you're trading the 4-hour chart and your trades are running 5 to 10 days?
Yeah. During the range market, yes, of course, everyone suffers. So I am. So we used to suffer in the range bond market. We used to suffer a lot.
And so what does your typical day look like when you actually? I suppose when you're looking at the charts. I mean, what are you going to do on a trading day?
Well, I used to take first a monthly chart. Then I put my pre-plan. So even before trading on Monday, I make myself that what I expect in this week, whether my expectation is happening. And Monday and Tuesday, most probably I'll come to know. I don't take trades on Monday and Tuesday. Most of the time I take my trade on Wednesday and Thursday. So based on the monthly chart, then I come to the weekly chart, then daily, then I take a trade on forward chart.
And you do that. So you it sounds like you're doing stuff on the weekend to prepare for the week. Wait till Wednesday, and then you'll just go in at a 4-hour sort of close, or how does that work?
Yes, Sunday evening is the time I started to prepare my trading strategies to trade on coming weeks. So Sunday evening, almost like 6 to 7 hours. 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I start my trading strategy. And I expect that according to the Elliott wave, in weekly chart, in daily chart, I expect market to come certain place to retrace. Then I prepare myself to put a pending order that will hit perhaps on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's where I don't trade on instant market. I put my pending orders and I expect market to come to retrace so my order can trigger. In that way, I can have enough time with my family. I don't need to just sit and watch the paint drying. I can have time for my family because of this kind of trading strategy.
And were you always trading on the higher time frames, or did you start off with the lower ones?
Well, I don't look at 1 hour time frame and less than 4 hour time frame. I don't look at the market because by going through lesser time frame, you need to sit on your laptop most of the time. That will really spoil your personal life and your family life. So that was my mentor. He taught me. So should not go lesser time frame. You will not able to spend valued time with your family.
Okay, cool. Well, that makes sense. It sounds like that mentor was worth his weight in gold. Now, going to change the questioning a little bit. So, what's your view on cryptocurrency trading? I mean, do you trade them? Do you invest in them?
Well, from the very beginning, I did not take any interest on cryptocurrency because my mentor, he given a strict restriction not to get into crypto. So the reason I asked him, as long as things are not regulated by the government, we should not do anything against the system, monetary system. So I'm not saying that this is not legitimate or something like that, but I never get involved into crypto.
You didn't want to get it. You don't want to get into it. You're not going to get into it.
Yes.
And what's your view on cryptocurrencies as a whole? Like, outside of what your mentor has told you. I mean, do you think that, for example, have you got any views on where you think they might head in the future in this year?
I Yes, there are a lot of expectations on cryptos because there are a lot of governments coming to regulate cryptocurrency. Yes, the future is good as it shows. But as of now, I feel that I make enough money for my living, so I don't find that I need to jump to other industry. By having Forex, having these 3-4 major currencies, I'm able to make enough money for my living, for my family, for my friends, for my company, for my clients. So I really don't have a reason to jump from Forex to crypto. That is what I mean. If I don't make money in Forex, of course I would have learned crypto. Let's see if I can make money in crypto, fast, quick money. But by the grace of God, I'm making money in Forex, so I don't find any reason to jump from Forex to any other industry.
Righty-ho, let's move off from cryptos and let's jump into. I'm going to skip one of the questions here because I think it was pretty obvious what made you different from everyone else. You had a great mentor, but if you're a retail trader working a day job, so somebody else, what steps do you think they should do or take to start earning income as a trader?
Okay, to be honest, I don't recommend anybody to do a daily trade because it have a lot of stress that not everyone can take it. It will ruin your personal life and your family life because of course we do trade to make money, but at the same time one should not spoil his personal life because I have seen families who's a successful day trader but very bad personal family relationship. So that should be balanced, So from the very beginning, my mentor, the reason I'm telling again and again my mentor, because he was a successful trader as well as a very good husband, a good father, and a good a person, So that made me to admire him. That to be a successful trader, one should have to have a good family and social, relationship. So I don't recommend anybody. Of course, brokers, they recommend people to trade daily trade. So you open a laptop every day in the morning till night. You wait for the market to move up and down. You do more trade. It's more good for the broker. But even I'm a part of broker, RedFX, but I still don't recommend anybody to do day trading. You cannot do that for a balanced life. Don't do day trading. Go for a long time frame. Yes.
Yeah, we've heard that many times in the past on the show, and so if they're going to go for a longer time frame as step number one, have you got a few other steps that they could potentially look into?
Yes. Once you have a longer time frame, because there are spikes in the market, it can shake up for the 50, 60 pips up and down. But once you have a long time chart, it's overall in the right direction. So I strongly believe people to go for at least 4 hour chart time frame. That is pretty good for a good trader.
Righty-ho. Okay, so if you had to split your trading up into technical versus fundamental, what does that split look like?
Well, fundamental trading is for those people who have huge financial institutions. They can go for a fundamental way of trading because their interest per annum is not it's not that much, But when you come to technical trading, it is for those people who have little money, like me, who wanted to have a good amount of return. So I recommend for those to follow technical analysis.
And thinking about technicals, what 3 things would you recommend somebody educate themselves on when reading a price chart?
In technical, I highly recommend to know about price action and Fibonacci, and divergence. This 3 things is I strongly believe and apply in every market, which can give a consistent return.
And do you want to just dive in a little bit deeper on what you consider important price action?
Okay, whenever the support and resistance break, there is a price action to come for retest. So that is the most important part that I used to monitor. In Elliott wave, that works as a psychology.
Okay, and what about divergence? You mentioned divergence. What indicator do you tend to rely on for your divergence?
I do have a customized divergence which I made along with my friend who is an analyst. But yes, you can use any normal indicator like RSI. You can use pretty good. RSI is a very classic and standard one, RSI.
And have you got any tips on drawing a line on your, or drawing the divergence lines on the chart?
Well, divergence itself is a big chapter because it also have a hidden divergence inside in it. So once you get into divergence, you will sort of learn a lot about divergence. But the basic RSI divergence, which is very basic, one have to get into inside depth of hidden divergence that can help a lot. So it's not only the divergence is just the topic, but I recommend everyone to know more about hidden divergence that can help a lot to take the trade, which trade to avoid, because even divergence fail. Because most of the time my friends used to ask me, William, I follow divergence but it doesn't work. But you also need to know the hidden divergence that can avoid some of the loss trading.
Hidden divergence. I've not heard of that one. Is there a good place for us to go and research that, or just a Google search will do?
Yeah, you can Google it. It's pretty much available on the internet. You can Google it. That hidden divergence can help you avoid which trade not to take.
Righty-ho. Guys, one thing to go and make a note of and go and check out, especially if you're looking or thinking about using divergence in your trading. Right, so let's go into the quick-fire technical round. I don't know if Siby wants to join in on this or not. It might work. Is he still around?
Yeah, he's listening. He's with us.
Do you want to join in on the quick-fire round, Siby, or not?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Sorry.
because... Yep, you can.
Okay,
continue.
brilliant. All right, well, let's do William first and then Siby second. So first one is, how long did it take you to go from trading newbie to consistently profitable?
So it took me after 2013 to till now. I've been into a very profitable trading setup.
And William?
Yes, I strongly believe, in my own experience, it need 3 years of experience in demo trading to be a successful trader.
And how long did it take you to go from newbie to consistently profitable?
The same, 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
What's your...
Sorry to interrupt you. The reason I said 3 years, we learn any course, a bachelor course, it always takes 3 years, A finance trading, one must have to go the 3 years time frame. It really works. It's a psychology.
Yeah, it does take a long time to get that subconscious trained and tuned so that you're not the person you are before you start trading.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right, so what's your mental approach to trading, and do you have any special techniques you can share with us?
Well, in my experience, a person with so much of positive energy, positive thinking towards trading, may not benefit, because I've seen people who so much of positive, they buy a trade, they go for a buy of instrument, and they are so positive that the market will never come down. So you also have to be, understand that trading, when you do trade, that you have to take in both concepts. So in trading, I personally feel that one have to be a good personality can lead to a good trader. A person with more humble can accept losses, and when it's a profit, he should not be so happy about it. So he should be able to balance his life. That person can be a good trader.
What about you, Siby? Any thoughts on mental approach to trading?
I totally agree with William, because you have to be both negative and positive at the same time. Because in my initial days when I trade, there were a lot of my trading friends. We were connected to WhatsApp group and Skype group. When I take up a trade, 40-50% of the crowd in my Skype group used to tell me, Siby, no, this is not the correct trade, and you should sell now instead of buying. So that somehow disturbs you mentally, even though you know that it is a perfect 100% correct trade. So I totally believe with both positive and negative. I take the feedback from the people, but nowadays I don't take when I trade, I am totally offline in my Skype and my Facebook, because these things can affect your mental position, and it will totally change your concept and the target which you are targeting in the market. So it's my mental approach that you should be prepared to hit the stop loss, as well as you should be prepared to not to stop the trade before take profit, because there are many circumstances where I have quit the trade before hitting the take profit, just seeing the big profits. So it should be like you should be ready for either take profits or stop loss. You shouldn't quit in between.
Yeah, good advice. Right, what's your favorite entry setup?
I take the call, William.
Yep.
Yep. According to Elliott wave, as I said, after the divergent, after the divergent, you can see Elliott wave take a wave 3. I mean, I cannot able to show on the chart because we have the voice conference. After the divergent, I go for Elliott wave setup.
And what about you, Siby?
I have two setups. One is the 15-minute strategy, which I teach in my course, that when there's continuously 4 to 5 green candles, that is a trend, that is buy, or there is 3 or 4 red candles, that is trend sell, and one opposite candle turns up. So that is a short term telling you that the trend is going to change and we should change our position to buy or a sell. This is a strategy which I am teaching in my 40-minute course, which is available online. And the second setup is that we go for a long-term trend and we find the Elliott wave countings and we wait for the next move to happen.
Cool. Brilliant. Right, and what strategies, maybe, I think you've answered this one already, William. So, Siby, what strategies do you use to exit or manage active trades?
Come again? What strategy?
To exit or manage active trades. I mean, like, do you have a hard take profit, or do you scale out, or do you move your stop to break even, anything like that?
Yeah, when we are trading a big account, when we are doing in the PAM trades, it's completely, I agree with William, because PAM trades are fully guaranteed trades. But when I trade in my personal account, I do follow the Elliott wave trade. At the same time, I do a short time scalping with this 15-minute strategy, which I told you. I do take up the trades in that way also. But in the client's account, we are totally strictly following the only one method, that is Elliott wave.
And sorry, just to clarify the question. So when you're actually in a trade, do you have any specific strategies that you'll use to exit that trade? Like, do you partially exit parts of the trade or anything like that?
Yeah. There are many times that, whenever there's a reversal in the trend, we do exit before the take profit.
Okay. All right. Righty-ho. What's your recommended trading book?
Trading book?
Yeah.
I have never read a trading book.
I might get rid of this question. Nobody can seem to answer it these days.
But I have written 2 books on trading.
Oh, right. You've written 2, you've never read one. Hopefully you read your own. You don't need to.
You tell people to read this book. And you don't read it.
What's the... do you want to tell us your books then?
The book is online available, the Forex Genetics Decoded. We have written our journey. Both me and William has written our journey and our strategies very, very clearly. I'll share the link here.
Well, we're losing your microphone here for some reason.
You got my link?
We'll get send the links through afterwards. I got your link. I can see it there. We'll get that up in the show notes. So what about you, William? Is it the same scenario, or have you read a few books?
Well, I'm just opposite to Siby. I read a lot of books. Whatever comes on the name of trading, whether it's good or bad or ugly, I keep reading, and that's my passion. Reading is my passion.
Okay, if there was one thing you'd recommend any retail trader spend the next month mastering, what would it be, why, and how could they go about mastering it?
Well, I recommend to go and study candlestick patterns for a fast track, to make it come to a track in a month. I highly recommend candlestick patterns are the best way to get into a fast way.
And just quickly, what kind of patterns would you recommend?
Flag.
So the wider, like, across the course of, many candle patterns as opposed to, 1 to 3 candles showing a pattern. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And what about you, Siby?
Regarding the book, reading?
No, regarding...
No, this is regarding one thing you'd recommend any retail trader spend the next month mastering.
Okay, because what I have been going through in my entire life was I was totally into this live market and educating myself. The exact word is called self-educating myself. So I recommend people to spend more time watching the markets. How do they play with their emotions? That's the best and the main part of any financial market. That is your emotional strength. It will check up your emotional strength. If you are not emotionally strong, you are going to leave this market very soon. So you have to control your emotions and play in the demo account for at least 6 months before turning up into live account.
Superb. Great advice, guys. Love it. Right, this question you should be able to answer pretty easily. What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
We have our own broker house, Red Star Forex. The website is redstarfx.com. So that is the only preferred broker.
And what about trading platform?
MT5.
MT5. Oh, right. You've gone to MT5.
We have MT5.
Very few MT5 brokers that I know of, actually. So you're probably one of the first. What's the worst trade you've ever had?
Recently or in my past?
Ever. Let's go with ever.
Ever.
Yeah. If you can remember it, or something you can remember recently.
Yeah, recently in the past 6 months, I don't remember such circumstances, but in 2015 November and 16 initially, there was many times that I blew up my account. It was a personal account because, as I said, I do take up risky trades in my personal account. There has been time that I have made very big, up to 36,000 times in a year, but at the same time, there has been time I lost on my account in a month. Both I have the verified MyFX book link for the both result.
And what about you, William?
Yes, I had a bad experience way back when Swiss S&B bomb. I given a stop loss. I don't want to mention the broker name because he's a very famous person, famous broker. I given a stop loss before the news, 40 minutes before my stop loss was triggered, and the trade closed. So my trade is closed, and I got everything is fine. And I went for a sleep because I don't want to check the news of S&P. But in the morning, I wake up and see they've deducted $8,500 from my account. So I was just shocked because my trade was closed and I got my balance. Everything is fine. Then I called my broker and I said, how come it's possible? Because if my stop loss triggered during the news, okay, it's valid. But my stop loss triggered 1 hour before the news, where the market was stable, everything was fine.
Yeah.
Then the reason they say your stop loss is not guaranteed, and it was pretty shocked. So that's the day I come to know, okay, to be a successful trader, you not only need a good strategy, you also need a good broker. No matter how much money you make, at the end of the day, if you don't get your money back from the broker, you're not a good trader. So that's where I come to know about Siby. When Siby have a passion to establish a broking house with a guaranteed stop loss, that's the only thing that attracted me towards Siby, because I've seen good traders, my friends from different part of the world, my students, they always suffer in one aspect, that the stop loss is not guaranteed and they can manipulate. So Siby is like an angel for me and my friends who came all the way to set up his broker house, and he guaranteed one word, and he faced people face to face and he said, in my broking house, the stop loss is guaranteed. So and I'm really enjoying it. My friends are truly enjoying the way how Siby set up the broker. Then we become a partner and promoting our broker as well as hedge fund management company all across the planet. We meet people face to face. We let people know who is behind this broker, because there are a number of brokers. You never know who is the owner of the company. There are staff can operate, customer care sitting in different part of the world. They can operate the platform. But one need to know, if you are trading in a platform, you must know who is the man behind the company. So
Fair
I
enough.
recommend.
Yeah. Well, at least we know you guys now, so anyone listening to this is going to obviously know both of you and your stories. So next question is, and we're almost at the end of this is the last one for the quickfire round, so can you leave the listeners with one piece of advice? If you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Keep learning.
Siby?
Actually, could you just repeat the question for me? Because William is using the headphone. I'm just shifting the headphone.
Okay. If you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Okay. Again, I'll come back to I stick with my same point that you should spend more time watching the market than taking up more trades.
Nice. Perfect. Right, guys, the last question of the show, and I mean, feel free to both answer this one, or just one of you. We'd like you to give us the bones of a full trading strategy, the entry setup, stop loss, take profit targets, market time frame, basically something our listeners can try at home this week. What have you got for us there?
Oh, well, in coming week?
Yeah, so not a trade in the coming week, but just more of a strategy that they can sort of go and have a look at. I mean, Siby, you sort of started to mention one there with the 5 candles in a row, but yeah, something that they can try it at home.
Well, I just closed all my trading this week. We made a good profit on Euro USD with short, and yesterday before market close, we closed the trade. But now Euro USD is a time we can retrace.
Waiting for the correction.
However, we still wait for the market confirmation. So you asked me a question when the trade is closed, So
now Euro USD is in the 5th wave as per Elliott wave. So it has to go down, and very soon it has to bring up to a correction towards A, B, and C. So it can be a good buy.
Oh, we just lost you.
Well, he need to say that according to Elliott wave, Euro USD, it reached to wave 5 on the down. Now it will go for a retracement, that is ABC, towards upper side. So we wait for the market confirmation to take a buy order at any time in coming week.
Okay, I think I'm with you. So now let's just let the guys know what date this is. So this is on the 11th of August.
Yes.
So this is the weekend of Saturday the 11th of August. So that's the day you want to look at, is probably the Monday as it's coming in, to see what these guys are talking about, and you'll get a view for what this Elliott wave setup is looking like, and that'll be Monday the 13th of August. All right, folks, so before we wrap up, what's the best way for the traders to get hold of you?
Sorry?
What's the best way for the listeners and traders out there to get hold of you?
They can get hold of me on Facebook and our website, Broker House, and my personal website. And yeah.
And do you want to, and I'll put that link up in the show notes. So from what I can see, it's Siby, SibyVarghese.com for
Varghese.com and redstarfx.com.
Okay, guys, brilliant. All right, so a big thank you to Siby and William for sharing with us today. Everything we've discussed here, along with all the links, are in the show notes. To find them, simply search for, let's call it, we'll do William or Siby. They'll both be in there in the search box on the website. Until next time, I wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed that interview there today. Now, as I said, if you do quickly jump on the site, you will be able to you should be able to get access to the very special $1 gold membership offer. It is being replaced, okay? So it is pretty much being locked down. It was there to give the guys who were pro members an opportunity to jump on board at the best deal ever. So, guys, if you're hesitating, now's the time. All right, folks, until next time, I hope you have a great trading week. See you then. Bye.